Animal Crossing is an open-ended simulation game, which is now one of Nintendo's most well-known series, being first established in 2001 and having the newest game releasing next year. The first Animal Crossing game released in 2001 was called Dobutsu no Mori, or Animal Forest in English. It was released exclusively in Japanese and only on the N64, near the end of the console's lifespan. The next game to be released was Animal Forest Plus. It was released 8 months after Animal Forest on the GameCube and incorporated the internal clock. This clock now plays a huge role in the Animal Crossing series, having exclusive content and activities playable only on certain days and times, and extended on content in the original version. The game's slogan became "the real-life game that's playing even when you're not," and it revolutionized console-based simulation titles. Released next, Animal Crossing, released in 2003, and it was the first time an Animal Crossing game was released outside of Japan. Thousands of lines of text were translated into English and rewritten to make sense to native speakers. As well, new holidays, items, and text were added to make the game seem less foreign to the new players. After Animal Crossing's completion and release in 2003, executives from Nintendo were so impressed by the localization work that the updated and expanded game was released in Japan under the name of Animal Forest E+. Animal Crossing Wild World was next to be released in 2005. It released on the Nintendo DS, the first time an Animal Crossing game was released on a handheld platform. And it was the first game in the series to use the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection. Nintendo excluded some holidays and items in order to make the game non-region specific, so the game would not have to be localized in this version. The next one after this was Animal Crossing City Folk, released in 2008, and it was the only Animal Crossing title released on the Wii console. This game emphasized multiplayer communication elements, and although the gameplay was cited to be very similar to Wild World, it also added chat options. It was the first Wii game to utilize the Wii Speak, an accessory that allowed players to talk to each other during online play. After this game, Animal Crossing New Leaf was released in 2012, and it was a franchise that returned to the handheld. And because of intense localization, the game focused on making the series more exclusive and relatable to different regions, incorporating different customs and traditions into the various releases across the world. New gameplay elements that allowed for more player control over the town, making mayoral decisions that could change the landscape, were added, and connectivity was expanded as well, allowing for Street Pass and Spot Pass connections in addition to Nintendo Wi-Fi support. This game was released on the Nintendo 3DS. And next year, Animal Crossing New Horizons is being planned for release in 2020. It's been announced for Nintendo Switch, and all that we know is that it's set on a deserted island with a bunch of new functions that have been added, such as making your own materials instead of having to buy them at a shop, and it looks to be a major switch to the continued plotline in the previous games. The majority of Animal Crossing games focus on the player arriving to a new town. You first get introduced and asked questions to determine the face and hairstyle you enter the game with. In the first Animal Crossing game, you're unable to change either after you enter the town, and in the games released in 2005 and later, you're able to change your hairstyle at the town's hairdresser, and in New Leaf, released in 2012, you're able to change your face style, eye color, and hairstyle within the game. After you get introduced to the town, you get introduced to the shop owner, Tom Nook, who offers you a mortgage on a house and a job to help pay it off once you tell him that you came to town with no money and no accommodation. And after a certain amount of tasks are done through the job given, you are free to continue playing freely. This gameplay mostly consists of talking with the other people in the town, gardening, fishing, running errands, and shaking different trees for fruit, the majority of which give you items that you can help sell to pay off the mortgage on your house. And after you pay it off, you're given the option to expand your residence, and then the cycle of paying off the mortgage on the expansion continues. There are other smaller functions you can do in different versions of the game, however this plotline stays consistent for the majority of the game series. In New Leaf, however, it changes slightly. While you still have the function of paying off your mortgage until your house becomes a mansion of sorts, you now have the function to change the landscape of your town as you come into it as mayor. And looking at the newest and upcoming version of Animal Crossing, it seems they're going to try and change the plotline even more, with it taking place on a deserted island instead of an inland town as it has in every other game in the series.
Let's start. Yes. Okay. In oh, my character is so cute. Go orange house. Okay, it's nice. It's more lighter in the yellow house. Click here. The I want. Okay. E X grab X N no flower. Yeah. Neighborhood. The overall Animal Crossing like a picture book with geometric shape and stylized design elemented instead of real objects, all presented from the classic top-down perspective. But immersive, the low-risk Animal Crossing is actually a very pleasure game to look at. The vibrant color and the cute of often humorous animal design will make the color come to life. The second part is the sound and the music. The music in the Animal Crossing is very catchy. The music is mapped the light-hearted feel of the game well, and transition fits together nicely. At night, it's on just the upbeat and jack mellow. Overall, the game is great sound effect. There is usually quite a bit of activity going on in your vicinity, and anything generate detective and positional sound that's mixed together to draw you into the environment. The language used in Animal Crossing is English and is very clear and easy to read. However, the animals don't understand what you write, and in conversation, they do most of the talking and leaving you with only 2 or 3 response choices. But each animal have personality and will talk different story. What they actually say is sometimes funny. They will insult another animal and even you. Open world video games are a type of video game where a player can roam freely through the visual world and is given considerable freedom and choose how or when to approach objects. And in Animal Crossing, an everyday life game set in a small forest community. By talking with the animal as the only human in the village, you buy a small house and slowly start to figure out what Animal Crossing is all about. It lets you become part of a quiet little community with honest relationship, daily joy, turn of collective, and occasional excitement. I find out the 3 mechanics in Animal Crossing. The first is game kill real-time clock. That's parallel the real-world time. The Game Boy Advance for data trading. The e-card reader scans pencil card that can unlock not only NES game but additional music and cloud button as well.